Hello there. My name is Ian MacDonald. Thank you for viewing. This is my internship experience presentation. I had the pleasure of serving my internship at the New Hanover County Senior Resource Center, and I will go into the agency itself and their overall purpose. The county mission: New Hanover County is committed to providing equitable opportunities and exceptional public services through good governance to ensure a safe, healthy, secure, and thriving community for all. As for the vision, a vibrant, prosperous, diverse coastal community committed to building a sustainable future for future generations to come. And I think this aligns quite nicely with the mission of the Senior Center, which is to act as the focal point for aging services within the county and promote wellness, encourage independence, and enhance quality of life for all older adults. I decided to include a brief snapshot of the 5-year strategic plan of the county, since the Senior Center is an extension of that. This is a guiding framework for providing services and programs to citizens. As for the structure of the Senior Center overall, consists of the Life Enrichment Program, which is the health and human services side, if you will, with social workers that act as community liaisons between clients, and they make referrals to programs and resources that they may benefit from. There's also 2 licensed clinical therapists that provide mental health counseling. As for the volunteer services, AmeriCorps has the RSVP program for retired seniors with over 500 participants, as well as the foster grandparent program with over 50 participants. And there are also other opportunities that exist, such as volunteer income tax assistance and SHIP Medicare counseling. As for nutrition, they do home delivered meals for homebound older adults with more than 10,000 meals served to over 500 participants every month. And they also do congregate meals at the main site and 2 satellite sites in Castle Hayne and Carolina Beach, with more than 7,000 meals served to over 700 clients. They also provide cooking demos and nutrition facts. As for recreational activities and programs, over 200 participants visit or frequent some sort of program daily at the center. They provide physical activity, hobbies, pool, bingos, things of that nature. As far as transportation, there is in-house transportation, but they also subcontract with companies such as Wave Transit for non-emergency medical appointments and daily trips. And the administrative aspect of it just handles grant reporting, as well as making those contracts and other various things. This is an example of some of the services and programs that are provided, such as the dental program, which is very popular for those that do not have coverage and other benefits, as well as caregiver support and prescription assistance. Also, depending on the type of grant funding, you must be 60 or older or 55 or older to participate in some of the programs, but over 75% of those are free, and membership is free to the center. This is an organizational chart that kind of breaks down the different units and departments within the structure that I just mentioned, how there's different heads and those that fall under that. As far as the population served, they primarily serve the demographic of older adults within New Hanover County, but you do not have to be a resident to partake in the services that are provided there. They also extend this to other related groups such as spouses, family caregivers, and those that are under 60 that may be handicapped or disabled but accompany an older adult. As far as funding, primarily the funding comes from the Home and Community Care Block Grant, which is 45% of that comes from federal funding from the Older Americans Act. It is administered by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services, Division of Aging, as well as collaboration with the Area Agency on Aging to coordinate allocation of funds with the county commissioner. New Hanover County will also match percentage of grants such as these. So that's the second type of funding primarily. And then there's ARPA funds that the AAA also handles, which is relief funding from pandemic related stuff. As far as agency professionals, this is my supervisor that I had the wonderful opportunity to work with. He is the social work supervisor of the Life Enrichment Program. He's very knowledgeable, holding a master's in gerontology of the ins and outs of the aging field, as well as handling day-to-day tasks and everything at the Senior Center. Here we have Miss Amber Smith, who's the director. She got a bachelor's of social work and has held multiple positions throughout the center over the years until she became director, and I had the wonderful opportunity to work with her as well on various projects. And here we have the clinical therapist that I mentioned earlier, as well as the social worker, the RSVP coordinator. These are some of the other employees. As far as my internship responsibilities, the master aging plan was developed, and that's primarily the focus at this time, where they want to connect older adults with one another and the community, create a guide that is accessible, inclusive, and adaptable for older adults, and empower them to contribute and thrive within society. This was developed by many key stakeholders, and there's comprised of 4 different committee groups, as you can see here. Social engagement and inclusion, that deals with keeping people engaged with the community and combating social isolation. Complete communities and accessibility, the second group, deals with transportation. Community organization and services, they deal with providing resources and making sure people are connected in the right way. And superior public health and wellness, that deals with the medical side of things. My responsibilities, as I mentioned, was just to support the progress of the master aging plan through assistance to the life enrichment team that included committee meetings, doing reports, as well as handing out promotional stuff on services that are provided there and health protection. Certain projects I did help out on were a Day to Remember fundraiser. Over 10 grand was raised for mental health services related to Alzheimer's and dementia for the center, as well as the North Carolina Division of Aging had a listening session for their upcoming master aging plan for the state. And they were just getting some input on that, so I helped take some notes and things for that. Home delivered meals, I had been doing that prior to my internship and was lucky enough to keep doing that while I was there. Committee meetings, like I mentioned, health education. I did some awareness on social isolation and loneliness and ways to combat that with some of the volunteers. And I did a grant proposal for $2,800 that I received on behalf of the Senior Center for Scam Prevention. An example of some of the work I did do. On the left, we have the notes that I did take from that listening session, as well as I was able to design an official logo for the Aging Coalition that stems from the Master Aging Plan. And here we have a call resource list that kind of goes over some of the different services there for people to be able to contact easily. As far as my internship project, I was happy to be a part of the planning, promotion, and participation of the Intergenerational Design Challenge. This was a reciprocal sharing of expertise, experiences, and innovative ideas where design groups came together and were led by team members in the community from Cape Fear Collective and Wilmington area rebuilding ministry. They provided insight to go towards feasible solutions for housing that people could take and learn from. And I helped with evaluation questions, things of that nature, and participation, as well as all the planning events prior. Here's a photo from the event and some of the members that were involved. Here we have some of the specific domains related to the Council of Education for Public Health that I was a part of that related to my duties throughout my time. As far as learning goes, gaining insight into how various levels of government operate and how funding trickles down, which companies are responsible for mitigating those funds and how they collaborate. Gaining experience into that was amazing, and seeing how healthcare overall is just done in society, and how widespread input is needed to gain feasible solutions for relevant issues. What I enjoyed most was feeling confident and being able to use some of my professional abilities, like designing the logo and being able to use graphic design, things of that nature. And one aspect I did not enjoy, there's nothing about the agency in particular, but seeing how the gaps in healthcare infrastructure that exist due to differences in qualifications for programs and like lack of funding that runs short, people fall through those gaps and aren't really seen. I want to really advocate for that group in the future professionally. And this leads to a memorable moment where I was at a local shop and I overheard a gentleman that was in need of some of these services, and I was able to make a referral for him to the mental health counseling, and he was able to get those necessary resources, and it felt good being able to utilize all the knowledge and things I had learned and see how that applies real world to help somebody. That concludes my presentation. Thank you for joining. Hope you have a good one. Take care.